Now to our first conversation, we see the Central Bank of Nigeria has again reduced the customs exchange rate for computing import duty at the ports by 1.3%. The customs FX duty rate was reviewed downward from 1,593 naira to the dollar to 1,572 naira to the dollar. That was yesterday, and we're seeing some stability right now in the FX market. Looking at the close from yesterday, we see 1,560 naira to the dollar. That was the close we had yesterday. The open was 1,572 naira. So we're still seeing the level below that's 1,600. But looking at the logistics value chain now, and we're talking about rising inflation at this time. Let's see how much doing business at the ports drives into the inflation that we're seeing, at this time. Joining us for this conversation is Dr. Innocent Akuvwe, President, National Shippers Association of Nigeria, joining me right here in the studio. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you very much, Lady.
Right. I'm sure you guys, I'm sure you must be feeling some relief, at this point. We've had the Naira below 1.6 for a while now.
Yeah.
And definitely, hopefully, this would continue, going forward. We want to see stability. There's nothing wrong with a weaker currency. That's what some experts say.
Yeah, I would say.
But you need to see stability. But we're an import-dependent country. We need a strong currency, at this time. If we're export-dependent, that's a different story. So talk to me about this volatility we've seen in 2023, the later part of 2023, into the beginning of 2024. How's that impacted, business?
It has virtually killed business. That's the simple truth. And I'm sorry to say this. At times we wonder whether these brothers in government actually are not as human as we are, okay? I mean, just look at what you just shared now, moving from 1,573 or so, a little down.
Right.
That hasn't made any impact at all, frankly speaking. And what are we expecting? We expect that, knowing that this country is not a productive company, okay, virtually everything we do, we import, virtually everything. We're either importing finished materials or we're importing raw materials, okay? So the exchange rate at which duties are computed make a lot of difference. I mean, I want you to imagine situations where some companies had imported or had opened from M when the dollar was like 900 and something naira or even lower, depending on what you're bringing in. I mean, if you had paid for goods that will take some time to manufacture, and then they are coming in today, and you're going to do the computation of duty based on this exchange rate, the guy is out of business already. You understand? He's completely out of business. So the central bank did give instructions sometime that whatever exchange rate is on your Form M should be the transaction rate when your duty is.
And I believe that should bring some relief.
That should bring, but my problem is it being implemented by the customs? The answer is no, not yet.
But the directive has been given, then
That is one. Giving directive is one. Right. Implementing it is the other one, and that's the more critical one.
So is it that the customs are not following?
Laddie, if you ask me, I should be asking you now, who does the custom take instruction from? I should be asking you that question now because I believe you're a financial expert.
Right.
Who are they taking instructions from? Central Bank send a circular to all stakeholders. This is what it is. And that happened after there were so many issues. Today it is 1,600 and something naira for exchange rate. Tomorrow it is a different rate. And then the CBN now said, okay, whatever amount is on your Form M should be the exchange rate at the time of computation.
Starting from when?
Yeah, that's the question.
Because we also
one will take it that it started from when that circular went out.
Exactly. Yeah. So it doesn't go beyond, say, the COVID era, at this time, because we also have some goods that are still at the ports.
Look at what I say here. I told you, I said, look, it depends on what you're bringing in. Right. There are some equipments you pay that take over 1 year to manufacture, 2 years to manufacture. Okay, let's take the COVID era. There were a lot of issues. Shipments had a lot of issues. A lot of factories were shut down. By the time these factories came to work, or the workers came to work, and by the time they began to produce, of course, time has gone. Now, one would expect that for the fact that you know that payments have been made for this for a long time ago, assuming these companies borrowed money for those, interests are running, so how do they get some cushioning? They can only get some cushioning effect if those goods arrive and you complete the duty at the rate it was established, because it's not their fault.
Right.
Okay? So, but the way we are going now, a lot of businesses are shutting down. If you go to our ports right now, as I talk to you, a lot of containers are there, the owners can't pay duty. Because what they had planned, what they had kept aside for their duty isn't what they're getting. You know, so that's a big issue of its own.
Now you have the double whammy of inflation and
yes.
you know, currency devaluation.
That's correct.
You know, at the same time.
Yeah.
So we've been talking a lot about rising inflation.
Yeah.
You know, in Nigeria.
That's right.
You know, at this time. So with all that's going on, you know, at the ports at this time, how much of that is feeding into the inflation that that's been on the rise?
But that's what it is, because what is causing all that? The fact is that the cost of doing business at the ports also has tremendously gone up. You understand? And this whole thing transcends. It's a long value chain. At the end of the day, it's the ultimate consumer who bears it. You understand? So what happens? Your consignments at the ports right now, you can't pay duty, so those goods that are meant for the market are kept in the ports. Okay, so there is already a short supply of those. So those outside, their prices will naturally do what? Skyrocket. Do you understand? And nobody does business for charity anyway. I mean, charity is a totally different thing. If I want to do charity, it's charity. If I'm doing business, whatever it costs me to do my business, I'm going to put up my margin and sell to the public. You understand? So central bank has a role. They have always come to say, this is what it is. Custom has a much more a role to enforce this. Custom should understand that they are not just revenue collectors, they're also facilitators of business. But they seem to lay more emphasis on revenue, what they will, you know, I mean, I could read some custom areas announcing huge amount of money collected and all that.
Yeah, we've been seeing record amounts of revenue collected by custom.
How has that affected what's the business that is going on? How?
Don't we see more efficiency at the port?
We haven't, it's not there. It's not there. You know, at times I'm a bit worried when, for example, you have custom clear your goods of the port. Okay, you were exited, and I want to believe some level of high officer in the customs would have signed your container off. All right, and then no sooner has that container left, a different unit of custom holds you back, and you're made to pay some money. Okay, and it continues that way. For goodness sake, if a container was cleared from the port by custom, signed off by a particular custom officer, that goods should remain cleared off until it gets to its destination. If you have any reason to hold that container... So
once the goods, once you get cleared, you know, at the port, then, you know, you get your goods out of the port. What happens between the port and, you know, the store?
A lot. I mean, there is a unit called FOU, Federal Operations Unit, I guess that's what it is. They are going to hold you first, okay? And then you show documents. I expect that you should have shown documents that you were cleared. And then the next thing they say, okay, turn your vehicle, take it to the customs warehouse. And then the issues, all kind of issues.
After you've been cleared at the port.
You haven't cleared. Of course, if you haven't been cleared, you can't come out. That's the truth. If you haven't been cleared, they call it getting out. If you're not getting out, you can't go out. So if, I had said it in several fora, that once a container has been gated out, which means some level of high officer in the customs would have put his signature to say, this container is good to go. If he had said so, that container should be truly good to go and should go truly all the way until it gets to its destination. But that's not the case. It's held up somewhere. The guy negotiates, he's let to go, he's held up again. So I want to see a situation where a container leaves the port, that container is held, and is found to have done something wrong. We need to hear, and probably that's a good thing now, because today the National Association of Shippers are taken off effectively, because before now it's been at state levels and regional level. So right now we're operating at the national level. So now we will get to understand why a container that has been given clear bills to leave is held back elsewhere by the same custom. We need to understand why. If it means us going to the court to get clarification from the judges on why this should happen, we want to know. Because we haven't also seen where a particular custom officer who signed off a container was either suspended or queried. At least we don't know. I mean, we want to see that happen. You understand? Going forward, once a container is held, we've got to know, I, as the president, will get to know what has happened to the person who exited it. And I'll tell my members, once we have this, let us know. Okay. If we know, let's know the action to take.
All right, so we've been talking a lot about imported inflation at this time, and the last data we got from the MBS for imported inflation, we see for January 2024, 26.3%, February 2024 at 29.8%. This is imported inflation at this time. Even though we're seeing inflation coming down in major economies at this time, I'm sure with some of our major trading partners, we've seen the U.S. inflation that's trended downward. We've seen in the U.K. Just today we saw the U.K. inflation numbers. That's also that also came down more than expected. Ghana inflation also going down, but it seems we're still having rising imported.
We're totally different.
Inflation.
I mean, we're
But is this all coming from the ports?
It's all about the ports. It's all about the ports, laddie. I'm telling you. I mean, why would importers in Nigeria contemplate going to destine their goods to Ghana, to neighboring countries? It's because of the issues we have at the ports. Okay?
What would you say is a silver bullet that can solve this problem, with when you get cleared at the ports, you don't get any more expenses getting out of it? What can solve it?
Yeah, what can solve it is just get, I don't know, what we plan to do after this interview here is we're going to have a press conference later today, and we need to let our people know what's going on, and after that we'll take a position, okay? We'll take a position and we will get to the appropriate quarters in the government to know how. Okay, let's not forget that we as national shippers, we are like an offshoot of Shippers Council, who are the regulators at the ports anyway. So we need to dialogue. We need to sit down with Shippers Council and get to know how to solve this. I mean, everyone is a stakeholder here. If the Shippers Council are having their fora, customs are there, okay? Customs are there, everyone is there, so we need to we need to be bold and courageous enough to say, this is where the problem is. What do we do? Right.
So definitely it has to be solved, because we've been seeing the central bank raising rates, trying to tackle inflation that's reached, new highs. But the same interest rates we've seen hiked in other climes have actually reduced interest. So if we don't solve these issues at the ports, what do you think happens to inflation in this country?
It's going to keep rising. I mean, that's simply what it is. So I think it is timely for us also to voice out as shippers, okay? Because let me actually tell you who shippers are. I don't know if I did that at the beginning.
Yes.
Shippers are people who own the cargoes that come into this country or leave this country. That's who we are. So we understand what it is, laddie. We feel that we wear the shoes, we know where it pitches us. We tell you, if you get us on a table and ask us questions, we'll tell you what it is. Okay, let me plot some scenario for you, okay? If I'm bringing in one container of a product, and a finished product or raw material, laddie, you know that if I could move from one container to 10 containers, the prices aren't going to be the same thing. I hope you know that. Fine. If I'm bringing in goods from China, the prices aren't going to be the same thing from Europe or from the US, isn't it? Fine. So now, the problems we have today is for some reasons, you want to bring in your goods from China because the prices are good. And where there are doubts about the quality, now that comes in and insists on a certain certification is done, fine. And then you bring in goods, customs says, no, this price is too low. But what they fail to understand is that there is a reason for you to have gone all the way to China, that the transit time is very, very high compared to Europe. It's because for that transit time you're paying for a lesser price, okay? Now, you are benchmarked against a price of somebody who has just done one container. You pull it off and say, no, this is the price. And then you up the price of a guy or a company that brought goods from Asia and then shoots up his duty. Again, the consumer bears it. You understand? And then you also try to kill customs also indirectly not knowing, I'm sure they don't know, that they also kill the efficiency of good bargain. Because if I have been dealing with you for years, I should be able to say, look, I think we've done well enough that my prices should come down. Okay? And when it does come down, I come back to my country and penalize because I got a good price. Today, I'm happy that central bank now does price verification. So if central bank has verified your price and okayed it, I don't expect that another body in Nigeria will say, no, this is too low, and then jack it up.
Right.
You know, so you kill the spirit of competition. You kill the spirit of good relationship between partners because there are companies that have built reputation over time and they get good deals.
Right. So definitely we need to solve the problem at the ports as soon as possible.
As soon as possible.
You know, so that we can get better prices because the consumers keep taking the punch. You know, at this time with rising inflation.
Absolutely.
I want to thank you so much for coming on, Dr. Innocent Akugwe, President, National Shippers Association of Nigeria. It was great having your perspective today.
Thank you, Lady.